If you are currently asking yourself any of the following questions: should I get a master's? Should I quit my job? Is it smarter to live with my parents? Should I move to insert city here? Do my friends like me? Do I like my friends? Should I break up with my partner? Do I want to marry my partner? Do I still believe in the faith tradition I grew up in? Should I start a business? Should I quit my job and become a barista? Well, my friend, if you are either approaching or in your mid-20s, I'm here to tell you that that is completely normal. And you're probably just in a mid-20s slump. Hello, I'm Sienna, and I yap on the internet about building an intentional life in my 20s. Today, we're gonna be breaking down the mid-20s slump. Grab a beverage and let's get into it. So what is it? The mid-20s slump is this like awkward, almost teenage-like phase between the ages of 24 and 26. And it's usually brought on by a few different things. I should be buying a house. I should be moving to New York. I should be starting a business. Because our peers are in such different phases of life, naturally we're trying to like fit in. That's our human brain. Outside expectations just become too much and you don't really know what to focus on. The career that you entered when you first got out of school is no longer a great fit for you. So you're kind of in like a career awkward spot because you need to make a pivot and you have all this life experience that has now informed like a whole new career path that you want to make, but you have no idea how to get there because maybe it's something you didn't study in school. And so you think about quitting your job and becoming a barista and moving to London, but realistically, you probably move back in with your parents. Maybe you feel like, okay, I'm in a weird place with my friendships. I don't know if like I fit in with them anymore. Maybe that relationship isn't fitting right anymore. The city you're living in isn't fitting right because you're like becoming this new version of yourself and nothing seems to line up with it. Everything just kind of starts to feel off and you know you want to take some sort of action, but you don't know what that action is. Now, I wish I could give you just like a checklist that would solve this feeling. Unfortunately, I feel like it's just a second puberty. It has to be embraced exactly the same as you would embrace it in your teenage years. But what kind of friend would I be if I did not bring a couple of strategies to the table? Burn it all to the ground. Literally burn it all. As someone who is on the tail end of the mid-20s slump, I feel like the thing that has made the biggest difference in moving me from the slump and into what comes after, shedding the things that were supporting me in my early 20s and allowing new things to come in. I let go of a lot of relationships that I had been holding on to for way too long. I let go of the job that I had after college, which was really hard because I really liked it, but I needed to grow. I let go of a lot of bad habits where I was just not taking care of myself. I thought that I was being true to myself, but really like you need to be true to the future version of you. And that requires you letting go of like people's expectations of you and things that were helpful to a past version of you, but are no longer helpful. I read this book, it's called Grit by Angela Duckworth, and grit is basically just the combination of passion and perseverance, which are two things that are definitely lacking in the mid-20s slump. I think she brings some great perspective to how to keep your eye on the big picture. So first, you have your early years. These are for exploration, experimenting. Then we have the quarter life, which is where we start to build discipline, and that's where we start really getting into our careers, finding grooves, building habits that are ultimately going to build the person that we're going to be. And then you have midlife and beyond, and that is where like your purpose and fulfillment kind of come in. Actually a really interesting part of this book because she kind of reframed my perspective to be like purpose and fulfillment, service and contribution to the world. Those things cannot happen until way later in life. So all that being said, I just want you to take a deep breath with me. You are only in the quarter life. We're still in a building phase of life. That is what this quarter life is for. Mid-20s slump fits right in between those early stages and that quarter life development. And that's why it feels so awkward because you're moving from this mindset of experimentation. You have all this data and now it's like, okay, I have all this information. Now, how do I apply it to the rest of my life? And that is inevitably going to be really awkward because we're really applying our adulthood for the first time. Give yourself grace. Like, if you don't feel like the most purposeful, driven, successful version of you, the internet makes it seem like we should feel that way right now. We do not need to feel that way right now. It's going to be a long time before we feel that way. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Keep the big picture in mind. In the name of research, I ask a lot of 30-somethings what the biggest difference is between their 30s and their 20s, and they always say that suddenly they don't care so much about other people's expectations because they realize that like you cannot make everyone happy. Where we can apply that as 20-somethings is start noticing where you're allowing other people's expectations of you to impact your life decisions and just cut that out. I want you to cut that out. Don't do it anymore. We're not doing it anymore. I know that I'm going to disappoint people. You cannot go through life in a healthy way without disappointing people. And so I think the sooner that you can shed all of these expectations from your parents, your friends, your mentor, your boss, the sooner you're free. What a slump is you see the distance between where you are and where you want to be, and trying to get there feels overwhelming. And so you end up getting in this like funk where you're stuck and you're just like not taking action because you don't know where to go. If it could just like be closed, it wouldn't be a struggle. Like, I think what it comes down to is just trying to make the gap a little bit smaller. Maybe we can't close it all the way. Maybe you can't close the gap between like this future version of yourself that's in your head that's like so happy and has her life together and she's just made it and oh my word, she's so happy. And maybe you can't see what needs to be done to get to that version of you, but what do you think needs to be done to get to the version of yourself that you want to be by the time you're 30? I feel like that's a much smaller gap to think about. Now you can start to like be really practical. You can think, okay, I have lived the first half of my 20s. What have I loved about it? What haven't I done that I really want to do that is like screaming at me in the back of my head, but like I've been ignoring it because like I'm scared or whatever the reason is? What are those things? And then you can start to decide how you want to move forward. And so if you just think about like the version of yourself that's 30, what has she done? And if that even sounds overwhelming because that's too many years in the future to think ahead, just think like in the next year, what's an experience that you want to say that you have had? What's a goal that's important to you that you want to reach by that point? Like, I can use my life as an example. I literally woke up after my 27th birthday and I was like, I am almost out of my 20s and I have not lived alone. And that is an experience that I really want to have. So I was like, how can I shift my life around to make sure that I have this experience? I'm also optimizing for money right now. Like, I was doing freelance work and I loved it and it was so much fun, but I knew that I wanted to have this living alone experience. So I was like, okay, I need probably like my income to be a little bit more consistent. And just for like where I was at with my work, I wanted like a full-time job. And so I applied to something and I'm working a job that it's not like my ultimate dream career job, but it pays for a goal of mine that I had. And so it's just kind of like optimizing for those things. The biggest thing we need to optimize for in our 20s is experience, like just to experience as many things as possible. The decisions you make in your 20s have the most compounding effects over the course of your life out of any other decade, other than you being like a small child. I suggest you optimize for experiences if you're able. That's what I think our 20s are for. Ultimately, you can optimize for whatever you want. If you want to get to the bag, get to the bag. There's people who get married young and have a family. If that's what you want to optimize for that. But just really make sure that you are living aligned with the experiences that you value, because those are the things that are going to change you so much and ultimately play a part in giving you the life that you want. Do we need to be optimizing for purpose and fulfillment right now? Probably not. We have like the later years of our life to do that. Right now we can be optimizing for adventure and experiences, and if you're lucky enough, travel and education and all of these things that are like really big investments now, but they're gonna pay crazy dividends in the future. I'll end with this. If you really have no idea where you want to go next in life, what you want to do, what decision you're supposed to be making, I want you to like think about the thing that has been in your brain that you think about all the time, but it freaks you out. Like, it scares you so bad. Something came to mind for me. Did something come to mind for you? Let's say it on the count of 3. No, just kidding. If something came to mind, that is probably the next thing that you need to do. New York keeps coming to mind for me. I'm going to need to move there at some point because I just can't stop thinking about that. So whether it's a city for you, whether it's a job that you want to try and experience, like, now's the time. We have so little to lose compared to the future decades of life that are coming up quickly. And we don't have any time to waste. If you're in your mid-20s slump, you only have half of your 20s left. I'm not trying to like rush you into anything, because I also believe that like what's for you will always be for you. But at the same time, we don't have time to be dilly-dallying. Did I just completely contradict myself? Yes, I did. And that's on duality. Where your fear lies, there is your task. And I'm gonna end with that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm really excited to like have a little bit more of this like podcast format behind my couch in my apartment. My friend actually asked me to make this video. So if you're watching this, you know who you are. I made this for you. So if you liked the video or found it helpful or comforting at all, please give it a thumbs up just so that I know if it's helpful or effective. Leave a comment, and that's all I have for this one. Okay, bye.